I'm gonna let her walk across. Just walk across first and then do some jumping. So here's Kelly walking across. Listen. What's up, DIY Nation? Welcome back to YOUFLOOR, the channel bringing you tips and tricks to help you with your next flooring project. Now today we're installing whatever this is. Our customer wanted to know if there was anything out there that could help with noise, because there's kids that are living upstairs, and of course there's probably kids living downstairs too. But anyway, there's a lot of noise going on upstairs and it's transferred through the floor down to downstairs. So they're asking, is there any kind of product you could put underneath the flooring to make it a little bit quieter? My partner Kelly did a little bit of research and came up with this stuff right here. So we are going to try to attempt to install this stuff underneath the Lifeproof today, and then we will report back to you and let you know how that went. So stay tuned for that. Here we go. All right, so here is the stuff. We opened it up and it's very, very thin. I'm gonna tell you what I compared this to, in my opinion. This is kind of like the stuff that they put on the bottom of Pergo Outlast, when you have the pad attached to it, except for I don't think it has this little plastic stuff that's on the outside here. I love the stuff with the lines because it's real easy to install up against stuff because you can just measure using the lines. But anyway, it's about as thin as that pad that goes on the bottom of Pergo Outlast. It just has this plastic stuff on here, and it made me just a shade thicker. But it's very thin, so here we go.
Okay, to get started, let me first mention this. The guy that stayed in this room, he had just about every game console that has ever been invented, and there were multiple cords coming out of the wall. And I basically felt like if I unplugged anything, I might unplug part of his life. So I just pulled this little dresser thing that he had with all his game consoles on it and stretched the wires out, and luckily the pad was just wide enough to fit between the entertainment stand and the baseboard. Luckily, with my loyal helper Kelly, it was a snap. Speaking of snap, once we got down to the end and I pushed it against the wall, it felt like it just kind of broke in place and made a line for me to cut with my knife. It was pretty easy to install, I gotta admit. Alright, now that we have our pad installed on the first row, it's time to start installing the flooring. Now, I've made videos on how to install Lifeproof before, but while I got you here, I did want to go over a few tips. First of all, I measured this room and I cut it in half. That helped me decide how big to make my starting piece, and they were 6 3/8 wide, I believe. I ripped them down with a knife and I just broke them with my hands. When starting your first couple pieces on the first row, I like to pull it off of the wall and I like to slide the pieces in. It helps to make sure that they are locked in really good for that first row. When you get to the end, turn a piece around backwards and make a mark, then square it up and just cut it. That makes for a perfect fit when you get down to the end, and you can use that other piece as a starter down at the other end. Now remember, I said I ripped these down to 6 3/8, so I want to rip this piece too. Notice I didn't rip it first, because if I did, I would not have been able to use that other piece. It would be too skinny for the next row. Another tip is to make sure you have plenty of razor blades on the job site. You can go through these pretty quick. Remember, there is crushed limestone in the middle of these, so it's kind of like taking your blade up against concrete, and after a few boards, your blade is toast. So keep a lot of blades. I'm generally able to break almost all the pieces with my hands, but if the rip has a small piece to break off, it's always good to keep a pair of nippers or pliers on the job for just breaking those pieces off. Now, as mentioned before, I'll take the cutoff and bring it down to the beginning and use it as a starter. After that, it's off to the races. Use a mallet and a tapping block to make sure your joints are tight. If you don't have a tapping block, you can cut a scrap piece of flooring and slip it into the grooves and tap it with your hammer. And the rest is all just basic installation stuff. You guys have seen some of my other videos. If not, you should go check those out. But basically, I was able to get at least 2 rows put together and lock them in, and that way it was easy for me to just shove the whole thing back once I was done. After you get your rows pushed all the way back, you want to go get you some spacers and put those behind those. I like to put my spacers on the end of each plank. That way when I'm coming in with the next board, it doesn't separate on the back there. That can be annoying. It's always good to plan ahead, and we like to do our starters with a big one and a small one and a big one and a small one, etc., making it as random as possible. Also, these planks come in duplicate patterns. Sometimes they flip the pattern around, but just keep an eye on it so you're not putting one exactly in front of one that looks exactly like the one that's behind it. All right. So we got that section of floor put in, and we were able to put the entertainment stand back on that side. Then with a little brooming and shop backing, we were able to start the second row. Let me tell you, make sure you guys got a clean floor underneath there because you don't want anything cracking underneath. That's the purpose of this, to make it quieter. We continue laying out the rest of the room with dark ones, light ones, different patterns here, different patterns there. And once the hard stuff was out of the way, we were able to blast through this room in no time. It turned out great.
All right, so it is a little bit dark in here, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We're just in here to show you the floor, and I am on the floor. I don't know, I mean, clearly I can't tell a difference whether there's a padding underneath it or not, but there is. And so I don't know if that offers any more quietness downstairs or not, but I mean, it feels good. The room looks great. Here's the floor. I mean, here's a far-away shot of it. Of course, like I said, some kids live here, so it isn't gonna be spick and span. But anyway, that's it. Kelly, make some noise. I'm gonna go downstairs and have Kelly do some jumping up here. What do you think about that? Let's do that. Come over here in the big bonus room. They're getting ready for Christmas down here. So here I am downstairs, and I'm gonna let her walk across. Just walk across first, and then do some jumping.
Alright, I'm gonna walk across.
So here's Kelly walking across. Listen.
Alright.
That was walking.
Now I'm gonna jump around. Maybe.
That's some weird jumping, huh?
How's that?
She's jumping like the Energizer Bunny, like pop, 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 pop. Maybe more like the Easter Bunny. You know, I don't know which one does the quick hops or which one does the slow hops, but either way, she sounds like a bunny. Anyway, in my opinion, I feel like it doesn't even matter. The pad they put on the bottom of Lifeproof is probably going to suffice for what you're looking for, and I don't believe that adding the extra pad made it any more quieter. It may have made it just a touch more softer, obviously, because you got more bounce in it, but other than that, not much of a difference in my opinion, and I wouldn't spend the money on it, but that's just me. So, hope you guys learned something about our underlayment that goes under our Lifeproof that already has the underlayment on it. Hey, if you guys like videos like this, do me a favor and join the DIY family by subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications so that YouTube will notify you when I put out new videos. And hey, if I brought you any value or you just straight up enjoyed today's video, help your boy out by going and destroying the like button. The YouTube algorithm and I will greatly appreciate it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this one, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until next time, take care and stay safe. Peace.